Good morning, it's Marty the JavaScript party. My buddy Rhett. Here's her almond. There you go, girl. And we are going to try to work on a bug today. I did not get a lot of sleep last night, so I apologize if I'm not super effective today. But basically, we ran into a problem. We found a bug. I was pretty sure, like when I got all this code working for delete, I had a sense that there probably would be a bug, some bugs, but the but the architecture I felt like was pretty tight, so I wanted to sort of get it sort of nailed down before unit tests and things like that got too out of hand. But I did do a commit. I did not push that commit because I want to undo it, and this work, whatever I do for this, should be part of that last commit. So, anyways, we've got this delete, and thing is okay. So if I refresh this, when I add a visualization, so we have none, and then this guy, so it actually will have one. So if I were to open this, I think it'll actually show. Yeah, see, it showed me the it shows the current view of these objects, not the view at the time. Um, Sometimes I've never really completely understood it, but as you see, we have a web renderer. So if we add a second visualization, we'll have two web. So now I can open this. Oh, huh? Don't. I thought we definitely have two web renderers because um oh, here's this one. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, that is well. So it did hold it from whenever I opened it. It maintained it. But see, now we have two web renderers. So now if we delete one of them, and then we add another one, what we should have is two web renderers, but we'll have three. We opened this. When it started, it had two, which it shouldn't have. It should have had one. All right, what is going on here? It's interesting. So what we were saying is that we would add. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. I'm going to start deleting them. As we see, they're going away. And we add. And see, we still have all these. We have like 6 or 7 web. Let's see, eight web renderers, and we only have one visualization. So that the hint I think I get from that is that it's likely in the delete button, um, delete behavior. So we want to find this delete button. Usually the first thing I will do is look in the components and see if anything just jumps out at me. Probably not in the menu. Could be in the layouts. Nope, that doesn't look like it. Viz. Interesting. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the app. HTML. Usually I'll just search on a word, but delete is such a basic word. Okay, so there's a router outlet. So we're going to have to go to our routes. And so for tabular, okay, so it's definitely in tabular, so app custom. Go to definition. And this guy has this is the HTML, so let's go to its typescript. no, we are in the TypeScript. Oof. Oh, I want to see the template. So this just renders these things. I don't know where the delete comes from. All right, let's go backwards. So starting here, and if I guess if I'm being completely honest, this is how I would normally do. Yeah, app tabular table. That is, oh, okay. Let's go to app tabular layout. So yeah, I did not. App custom layout, app tabular layout. Did not do it the way I guess I normally, yeah, I don't know if I do normally do it that way or not. I think maybe the way I usually do it is what I just did, where I right click and find the actual layout that, or the actual component that whatever I'm looking for is in. It's not always that straightforward, but so we call a thing called delete render item a function. And I'm assuming it's probably in here. And I'm assuming that there's a, well, you know, I was saying I'm assuming there's another place that this, but no, I don't, the grid does not have this behavior. So it goes to UI service delete renderer, go to implementation. So it goes into the visualization. It says prune visualization by renderer ID. So I'm guessing this is, I don't know what I just did. And this gets all our visualizations, but it doesn't get our it doesn't get the where the bug is. So I know I want to do some. I'm probably going to want to do something here. I'm just going to put a little comment to myself. So so when I look at differences, I can find this code in the get differences. Probably. This may not be the right place to do it. I'm not 100% sure. I was like, I was going back and forth with ChatGPT about language, and I actually have a very difficult time when I have like different blocks of code that sort of fit together, and there's sort of a visual hierarchy to it. Even though I think I'm a very visual person. That I like more code where you just follow the code like breadsticks than sort of import things. But anyways, so where was the other place where we were like, oh, there's a problem? Okay, that was in renderer service. So I wonder if this um, has a injects the renderer service, and I'm wondering if this is the one that, no. So I think we can do this. We can just say private I'm definitely misspelling that. Render equals inject. So that should get us an instance of the renderer service. Again, I can't really picture exactly in my head how that all fits together. Um, and I bet you there are a lot of developers that can. I would like probably gonna interact with ChatGPT and ask it about like a game that would help me, like a puzzle game or something that would help me develop that part of my brain. All right, so let's come back over here, find the change we care about again. Okay, we have another change down here. Ooh, down there. There we go. So when we prune, we actually do get an instance of the visualization, so we can get the renderer ID. So I'm just going to say, get back over into this view where it's a little more space, and we wanted this in front of there. Okay, this function does not exist yet, so let's go ahead and make it now. We need to get the... Oh. Oh, maybe we need a prune visualization. So this gets called directly? I think this gets called directly, so... Okay, so we want to go in the, we want to add one of these. See, we have so many parallel things that we need to kind of do at the same time. See, because we don't have, I think it's a visualization renderer ID, not. No, this is not. Oh, it's in here's where we want to be. See, we get the okay, so when we create a renderer, I think it ends up getting assigned as a renderer ID. As a, yeah, the renderer ID, I think. So let's find where, let's just validate that and find where this gets called. Okay, that's this one, and then this is where it actually gets called. And see, we send it the ST renderer ID. No. Get renderer by ID. So we do have a. I need to go. Oh, so it is the, okay, so we actually do have the right, it looks like we have the right ID where we want to call this function. I think it was like delete. Hello. Delete renderer by ID. I think this is the same ID. It's the ST ID. So, and let me just go take care of that right now. ST renderer ID. I'm going to save that. It's going to break stuff, but it's fine. I think this is where I started working on it. No, this is what calls it. This is the guy. Oh, man. Could probably count on, you know, it's probably less than 20 times a year that I don't get a good night's sleep. I remember when I never, ever, 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 ever got a good night's sleep. But I only have this return a Boolean. Mostly for the unit testing purposes. See, it's hard to think about unit testing right now because like we're deep into a problem. All right, so I'm going to create a like a flag that I'm going to return. I like doing it this way. It can be a little bit like some people don't like. They'd rather kind of just do it in a ternary or something. But I personally like to. I don't know. I definitely would. I feel like it's easier to read this way, and I think there may be in the past there may have been some performance, you know, optimizations problems with like maybe it didn't was an optimum performance if you had something like this, but those concerns are over now. Okay, so we want to make sure that it exists. Renders dictionary. So, and this is like, I guess maybe one of those things that I do that ends up taking forever. If during the unit testing is refactoring this code. I wonder what this does. Oh yeah, it's not going to do. Like, do we really want to? Like, I guess I was going to add some code just so it'd be more readable, kind of, or my intentions would be a little clearer. But I believe that's how you do this, or maybe it's like this. So, and this is, I don't know of any other JavaScript that looks like this. This is a very strange looking way of doing that. See, so that's the nice thing about voids is, well, turn. Trying to figure out a good way to do this. Just if you do that, you do that. I don't know how you test. I do know how you can execute this. So I'm curious. I'm just so curious. Does this return anything? Like, can you say? Oh, you can. You return this. just go to ChatGPT and ask if that returns anything.
What? Martin?
Oh, so this does supposedly.
What?
Oh, but it's interesting. Like,
For
it's kind of funny though. This is actually the exact code that I'm probably gonna have. Um,
you are ready.
so it's okay. So actually, this one is. So it's saying that I thought okay, I did do this and the compiler did not. It was weird to me that I can't do that. But apparently I can say const
Girl.
and then return result.
Gretchen. Go.
And I'm guessing, I'm hoping this is a Boolean. Okay, good. And that'll give you a result. That actually is kind of nice. Okay, so now I think this is going to solve the problem. We added a line of code that actually deletes things. So let's see. Inspect console. So basically we're going to go add of is and then delete the viz. Okay, so now if I open it, what do we? About this one. And then I delete the viz. So there's a problem here. This render. Okay, so did not. Okay, apparently it did not delete the. Render. Okay, console. So it looked like what was happening is the thing that handles the animation was like trying to write to something that didn't exist. And that may be another bug we have to fix. Maybe that wouldn't surprise me. Ooh. Aw. I don't think Brett got much attention this weekend, so she's trying to interact. I love you too. So it did delete it. I guess one thing, yeah, I guess I like a little bit better about a little bit more JavaScript is you can do that. So it's upset, but so what's upset right now is so I feel like that's working. Maybe the problem is inside of here. Like maybe in render service it shouldn't be. So in render service, so I'm gonna say pause on exceptions. Let's see. I don't know how to debug this. So it seems like we've slipped into an even deeper hole now. So I'm just gonna restart. Okay, it's happy. Now when I delete it, it's immediately unhappy. Okay, I had marked it as you don't normally want this because it'll end up popping for lots of weird reasons. But so this is my scene. I believe my scene. Maybe my scene also.
Ready?
And we don't know what the error is going to be yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and run it out. I think we're stuck at this point, um, but run that out. And so it looks like in my renderer, not my renderer, in my wherever that debug statement ended, it still trying to use. Oh yeah, it was trying to run for a visualization that didn't exist anymore. So that's a tricky one. I thought I had a grip on it, but now I'm not sure. Add viz, then delete the viz.
What?
I don't think we're caught in the debugger. Delete the viz. Oh, okay. See, it seems like this scene still has a well, first of all, this scene probably shouldn't even. No, the scene should exist. Oh, so it's dying when it tries to loop over. All right, and again, here we go again. Console.
You want to go out? Go. Go.
Okay, animation service is the one who's calling it.
You go. You burn out here.
So yeah, this guy is calling, and he is. When it calls this, it dies, and yeah, I think. Oh, I think it's yes. So this guy still has a so the whole renderer is deleted, but this guy still has a
Hello.
reference to it, which is weird. All right, so basically, if we were to um, let's see, I don't want to actually delete it now. Result. True. So if we don't delete it, we don't have the problem because so it looks like we've run into sort of a new sort of rabbit hole. It looks like when I do a delete, something is the animation is still trying to run the
You're right.
it's still trying to draw it even though it doesn't exist anymore. So we'll have to figure that out next. Let's see. Oh yeah, you have to click it twice. But if I do this, and
Gretchen, here's your water.
here, let's go to our console.
Gretchen. Gretchen.
Gretchen.
Go in here. Good boy.
Right, and then I delete it. You have to click it twice because that modal is up. And then it dies. And really isn't the best spot for us.
Wrap your little human.
So it passes the whole scene. The whole scene, does the scene exist? No, the scene shouldn't exist anymore either. Yeah, because the visualization is gone, so that means the scene should be gone. Let's go to the call stack. See, we have created an animation function for this, and then it's given it to the renderer when it comes back. And see, it sees that the ST renderer scene, and it passes a whole ST renderer that probably doesn't exist anymore either. But see, it has a oh man, so it does have a it has its own reference to it, and it's sort of lost in this like being called. So that's a pretty wild issue. See, I create this function and I give it a renderer, and now it has, and then it kind of just keeps getting itself run, but it doesn't know that the renderer has been deleted. And the renderer is deleted by I don't, so the renderer needs, I guess the renderer needs to let itself, the renderer needs to let itself know that it is deleted. That is one of the craziest set of words I've ever said in my life. See, we're creating this function, and then we're giving it to some other system to run, and the other system is ThreeJS. Or no, actually, we put it into the request animation frame. So every command in JavaScript runs through an async cycle, and one of the last parts of the async cycle is the request animation frame, and that is what draws on the screen. That's like functions that you give it to say, hey, every time you're going to draw something, go ahead and run this along with it. Well, in that function that I've given the request animation to the request animation frame, it has a reference to the thing I'm trying to delete. So as long as there's a reference to the thing that you're trying to delete, as long as that exists, you won't be able to. You can't actually delete it. It's still, as long as there's a reference to it. So this, I guess, what I need to do is add a deleted flag on this, and then only run any of this if the deleted flag is not, for the ST renderer, is not set to true. So when we create the ST renderer, well, first of all, we need to go to ST renderer and see if it has a deleted flag. I don't think it does. I don't know. It should be pretty easy to get to ST renderer. Let's see. That's so weird. I'm having such a hard time finding this. It's just changing gears. I was like, haven't been in interface gear in a while. So it's not going to be in the components interfaces. ST. Let me get back. Back. So we're trying to delete the whole STID, or the whole ST. Let's see. Man, I just thought of a good way to do it. See, this is this. Again, let's look at this. Renderer service, create render, st renderer. I'm just going to look for this phrase. St renderer. So that is the actual creation. See, renderer function, this is where, and see, this is where we set it. We say this is, but this function needs to, yeah, that's, I don't think the st renderer has go to definition. Yeah. See, so I've never, this is the first time I've ever, this is a very novel thing that I've sort of had tangential contact with. Dakota! But I've never actually really thought through what I'm thinking through right now. And this is kind of a rare experience for me where I'm just like, this is completely, this kind of fills in some gaps. But basically, we have allocated, made a request. We made a request to always run a function over and over again in the request animation frame. And the very last thing it does is it calls itself. And that function has no way of knowing that it's been deleted. So it's trying to run, it's like trying to execute, but like all of its parts are gone. And so we had some parts there where it was still able to do stuff. So there was actually the full processing for the animation was still happening. It just wasn't. It was for something that like one, and then something that didn't have like a visualization. So we had our screen. The thing it was the DOM that it was supposed to connect to didn't exist anymore, but it was okay because it had its own little canvas. It was doing its own little thing. But then we got rid of that, and then something that was calling it broke. And the something that was calling it has no way of knowing that it's been deleted. So I think we need to add a deleted flag here. And I think it needs to be required, and it's a Boolean. And that should break stuff, and that should leave me in a good place to sort of pick up again tomorrow. Yeah, I definitely like knew that there was some deep flaws in the code that I had just written, but that I wouldn't, but that, generally I had mapped out exactly what I wanted to do. So it was a good idea to tighten it all up and get it ready. Um, but I could tell that there was some stuff, and I just didn't even think about that function, the request animation frame function that then is like I just never thought about that because yeah, and this is something I've literally never even sort of contemplated before, but and I guess this is sort of the core thing of understanding JavaScript. One of the core pieces that I was missing to understanding memory leaks in JavaScript and stuff like that is like one of the things that you do in JavaScript is that's very, very common is you give other processes that are running um, behaviors that they need to run every time. So you say, hey, every time can you make sure that this is the right width or whatever, so you're saying every time you're drawing, can you please check something? And technically you don't really want to be calculating things. You want to be just checking things in there. So that has, when to get it to do its thing, I had to give it a task to do, and the thing that it does at the end of the task is tell itself to run again. I think that's what's happening here. Yeah, it definitely seems like that should be. Let me see. See here, we're having it create this function, and then we're saying set animation function for stid, and we give it this function. So we'll go into there, get rid, get set animation ID. Okay, so render set animation loop is function. So, and this is a render. Yeah, this is a Web3GL render. So we're telling the Web3L to, hey, go ahead and give it this function that we just passed in. Um, and so if we hit back, this is how we create the function. So let's go to there. And so this is what the function does. And this function has a reference to the object that we're trying to delete. That we did, in fact, delete, because that is why it broke. Because the render, this st render, that is weird. Service render. Okay, I think that's where we're. I think this is the piece that like it needs to. It what it does is it gets all the way to the end here. It says render, but it should not try to render the renderer. Now I'm very curious if this is just going to keep running over and over again though. Um, for each, boom, that's the function. Yeah, I don't know if this function what it does. Um, yeah, I'm deep into some stuff I've never explored before. Log. And this is a animation function, and it's so easy to get yourself in trouble in these sorts of things. I don't remember if we. Okay, it's upset. Ugh. And I still have some time. I know this is a super long video. Okay, it is upset. Let's use this down here. So basically, I was upset that I had was missing a required field when we initially created. So I said, okay, we are not deleted. By default, we are not deleted. If we just got created, we clearly haven't been deleted yet. I can't remember where we're at right now. Like if we're breaking or if I made it to where it keeps running. Oh, but see, that animation function is still running. And see, I think it just, yeah, pause and it cannot read undefined. Oh, and render is undefined. Oh, that might not be too bad. Maybe if we just wrap this with if render. See, we are so out of my like expertise at this point. And I don't really know many people who are really expert at this kind of stuff. Render dot render. There we go. So I don't know what happens if I say, like if I band-aid this thing. And I'm going to find out what happens, but for right now I'm thinking to myself, I don't. So I go to do this and it says and it doesn't, what happens, you know? Seems like it should be fine, but will that other JavaScript, the console log, just keep coming even after we deleted it? And I think this is super interesting to my brain. This is something that I've run into a lot, and I didn't realize I was running into it. No, did not want to get rid of the. All right. Okay, now. So we have this animation function that's just grinding away. We delete it. See, the animation function is still going. So, you know, okay, so what got us here is that, you know, when we try to delete stuff, it was like we get this weird, you know, block when if we add too many. And then we figured out, oh, okay, that's because we're not deleting a something that needs to be deleted as part of it. Something that shouldn't even exist once the canvas shouldn't exist anymore. The WebGL, none of that stuff. We should dispose of all that. But then you go in and then you find out, oh man, no, there's something in the animation itself, core to the animation, that's causing problems. And it's like, so we're on this wild goose chase, just fixing whack-a-moling bugs right now, and that is just a normal part of the saw. I've never worked any place where that doesn't happen, you know. But as the bugs present themselves as you're moving through, um, it's kind of good to imagine where you are in the stack of like layers of abstraction of because I find that, like, let's say you start really close to the UI and then you keep working your way deeper and deeper, that you know, as long as you're going deeper, the likelihood of sort of more branches go up a lot. So we're pretty darn deep at this point. We're at this animation service, and I don't know if, like, I think yeah. See, he recalled. I think here's where, like, we don't want this to happen if the renderer doesn't exist. But we really, like, need to know, okay, does the ST scene even, okay, so let's try that. So are we here? Let's run this. So we have our ST scene, and it has meshes and all that, and none of this is accurate. So this does not this these all of none of this actually exists anymore, but this thing is still running to do it. Um, and I think that if this didn't get called, then all of those don't. Then this would quit running, and I don't know if that solves the problem though. Like, to me, the fact that the ST renderer still exists. See, at this point, I could see, oh, I'm deleted, and just bail. And I think this wouldn't run, and then I think that the rest of these um, pieces of memory would be reallocated, but I'm not sure. Now, I really am not sure. And I don't even, I'm not one, I know I want this to be gone, but I don't think I would want the ST camera to not exist anymore. But the ST height should definitely not, the renderer ID should exist. I don't think yeah, we're not reusing scenes. So this is actually a really good example. ST camera should still exist um, at all, but the rest of these shouldn't exist at all, which is a weird thing to think about. Um, but so next, when we're going to need to mark it as animated, and then here, um, basically check to see if it's been deleted, and then we'll leave this console log and we'll see if that console log just keeps firing off or if it goes away. Um, and if it doesn't, but well, I guess this is kind of cool because, um, well, no, yeah, because see, until this function doesn't exist anymore, this there's a or it has the address. It's got a link to the renderer, and the renderer shouldn't exist. Yeah, this is crazy. Like, yeah, my brain is definitely being expanded right now. Okay, so how are we going to? So yeah, how do we delete this instance of this function? I don't know. Maybe it just keeps creating itself. I'm not sure exactly how that works. So we're gonna have to dig into that, and then you know, and then does which one? I mean, are the rest of these things ended up being deleted, but this camera? Well, I guess right now though, so in the future I want cameras to, but this camera should be deleted because this is a specific one that was just created as part of the. Um, they're not sharing cameras, man. So that's going to be hard to implement. Yeah, this really opened up a can of worms for me. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Bye.